welcome back. This week I'll try out some base content for AMS2. With the recent 2026 roadmap released by Razer, I thought this would be the best time to load up AMS2 like it was for my first time and see what it would have to offer for new players or existing players that don't get much seat time in these GT4s, and I have to say I was beyond impressed. If you enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel as it really helps me out. And I just thought Brands Hatch would be the perfect place to start. I've spent a lot of time in AMS2, in the GT4s this week, and on Brands Hatch. Brands Hatch in general is such an impeccably modelled track on AMS2, and paired with these GT4s, it really has blown me away. And as I've said in my intro, with the new Razer 2026 roadmap just showing that they've got so much lined up for 2026 that us regular AMS2 users have really been looking forward to. I just thought it would be the perfect time to just have a look as if you were loading up AMS2 for the first time and you just purchased it maybe recently, or you know, in 5 to 6 months time, what the game would sort of provide as a basis. Because personally I own all the DLC, so sometimes I do get a little bit confused on what's base content and what is DLC. So and these GT4s in particular really did blow me away. The car feel and just overall the physics of these GT4s. I've not spent a lot of time up until this week really in these GT4s, and I have to say they really have impressed me. I think as a career this is probably something that you would start with. So if Razer do release their career mode towards the end of this year, this would be a good place to start and really get a feel for GT class of driving. So yeah, I was unbelievably impressed with how these car felt, and of course with the new patch notes that are up on their page if you want to go and read them in full. But they have spoken about improvements to the AI, and in this race, as you'll see in the background as I come flying up behind this Alpine, it's I believe the AI already is peak in the terms of simulators out there, and just the level of battling that the AI now do against each other, let alone the influence of the player. It really is impressive, because sometimes AI do get a little bit sort of affected by your driving, and it's very based upon your level of driving and what you're doing in the race, which this sim, I feel like even if you took yourself out of it and just watched a race, you would still be very impressed with the AI. And other than the odd little bit of them following a little bit too closely to the car in front, they do a very good job at a realistic interpretation of a GT4 race or many other classes of races. I think for the amount of content that is actually in this game, that it never ceases to amaze me that they managed to get so many different cars and car classes and track combinations all working together. And particularly this week in this one that you're currently seeing with me at Brands Hatch with the little 10-minute sprint, it really did impress me just how fighty the AI was. I'd maybe looking back on the footage and after I drove, had so much fun actually being in the seat and getting a feel for this Audi in the GT4 class, that I look back and sort of realised maybe I needed to up the difficulty a tiny little bit, which I think it was on 100 overall, and I think maybe I could have jumped up to about 105 and still had a very fun competitive race. But I think all of us sim racers enjoy starting at the back and sort of trying to fight through as far forward as you can, and just seeing where you end up.
Okay, Dave, car left.
Also in the patch notes this week, they had a little bit in there about the content and car content that they're bringing out, tracks and cars, and hopefully they are more focusing on the classic content and the historic content more than this modern stuff. However, I have been still very impressed recently, as I've done. My last video was on the IMSA Daytona 24-hour, and I just thought it was a good start to, you know, having a little go at more of the modern stuff in this sim.
Right side's clear.
And I do think these GT4s, and especially considering they're included in the base content, really do impress me. At no point did I feel unconnected to the car, which I know some users do have a problem with AMS2, and I think these feel very grounded, and because they're so much less affected by mechanical and aero downforce, the way you sort of lean on the tyres a little bit more definitely impressed me a lot. And I think it was quite a shock that, for me personally, who doesn't do a lot of GT4 racing in general, even on other sims, it was very impressive to me that it was sort of so easy to pick up and play and have such, you know, a great race and improve myself as the session went on, and have a lot of fun. Sort of, I was struggling with some of the bends. The Paddock Hill bend, it didn't matter how much I tried. The late braking, you know, almost always unsettled the car, but this setup was base, so I suppose with a little bit more tweaking, or maybe even copying one of the time trial setups, I could have got that a little bit better. But the rest of the lap felt very, very good. I think the last corner, maybe Clark's curve, I struggled with a little bit more, but nothing major. I think this track in general is, I think it came originally with the 2020 version of AMS2, and I've spent many hours on this track in many different classes of cars, and every time on this sim it does, you know, it does nothing but cease to impress me with just how well it models the track. And
Still there. Clear left.
just to talk a little bit about my my channel as of recently, I have done slight improvements to the way that I record, and I bought myself a new microphone, so please let me know down in the comments, you know, if it has improved, and if moving forward you do believe that there's anything else I can sort of do. My content on historical racing and, you know, sort of the history of racing will still be coming up. It's just unfortunately with work and home life, them videos do take a little bit longer to compile. So, but as we'll talk you through a little bit of a lap now, as we just go through Druids, coming up to Graham Hill Bend, we drop it down into second and just wait until we can start to put that power down, not to run too wide. Surtees and another lap, another corner, sorry, that I do struggle a little bit with waiting to get that power down. I couldn't decide whether second or third was a better gear for that corner. As we come all the way down to Hawthorne Bend now, waiting to between the 100 and 200 marker there, we just brake it in and tip it in as we follow these three cars up ahead. Coming down into Westfield Bend, we're going to come up the hill now into Sheens. Oh, taking as much curb on the inside as possible, and Sterling's is the same, as much curb as we dare, as we get a beautiful run on the BMW here.
Still there.
Coming out into
Right side's clear.
Clark curve, the last corner onto the start finish straight. We do manage to just tip in front of the BMW here, but unfortunately once again my sort of timidness into the Paddock Hill Bend does give him another shot up the inside. But once again it just shows just how well acclimatised the AIR2 battling the player, and not, you know, not just throwing it up the inside whenever there's a gap available. They will make quite calculated decisions. And this, I am using a livery pack for the base content cars that are in the GT4 class, and I will leave that in the description. And the only two cars you won't have available with base content is the Alpine and the Aston Martin, which I believe the Alpine is quite quick on many tracks, but there are plenty of cars to get your teeth into in the base content. As we are now coming round to our final couple of corners on the last lap here, so I don't know if I'm going to have much of a look to improve my position from 6th. So, but yeah, I have been incredibly impressed with this setup, and I just thought I'd share it with you. If you're thinking about buying an AMS2 or you already have it, this is a lot of fun, and these GT4s are a lot of fun on other tracks as well. So if you have any ideas of other combinations you'd like me to try, or just simply ideas on different sims and stuff, I'd really be interested that, you know, you tell me in the comments. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.